Welcome to the Three Principles Global Community webinar. The Three Principles Global Community, or 3PGC, is a nonprofit organization that is committed to bringing an understanding of the three principles as introduced by Sydney Banks to people throughout the world. Today, we have Tom Mattox. Tom shares the principles of innate well-being. He is the Zoom Room host for many 3P programs. He loves to paint and shares artwork with people from all over the world. He also is a highly sought after cat sitter in Portland, Oregon, and occasionally in other parts of the world. Welcome, Tom.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody.
Well, thanks everybody. And I just threw that last part in case you're somewhere else in the world and you need a cat sitter. So actually you learn a lot from cats about the topic, don't you, right? Some of you know, some of you have cats, and some of your cats on this call I actually know personally. So um yes. Well, welcome everybody. This is so much fun to be with you all today. And I guess I just want to start by saying, like, acknowledging everybody just for, you had a lot of probably choices of what you could be doing today. And, you took the effort to be here, which is really, taking time out for yourself. And, when you do that, it also gets reflected back into the world. So it's just like a win for everyone. Um, it's just so cool to sit here and see all your faces and just, take a moment to soak all that in and invite you to do the same throughout this talk. I really want to make this webinar, this time we have together, experiential and interactive as much as possible. And I really hope that everyone here, you know, sees something or remembers something because most of what we talk about in this community, we're talking about things and feelings and states that already exist, that they're already with us. They're already here. That's the good news. Um, and sometimes just remembering, and it can be like the slightest, smallest thing that you remember, or you have like a little inkling of an insight of that you can really come alive. And when it does, the good news is you can see that it's yours. It's yours forever. So I really hope everyone here um, find something valuable in this talk. And if you don't find something valuable, I hope you have fun. So, so the topic I picked today came from, um, I love, like a lot of the teachers in this community, I love images and metaphors. And about 6 months or so ago, I was working in a community. It was a support group for people who were presenting with anxiety, sometimes, very severe anxiety, which is why they were in the group. And as I was talking one day, this image popped into my mind that I thought was so powerful and actually fun too, because I'm all about the fun as well. And I'll maybe set the stage for you now, and you can imagine this for yourself. Um, just imagine yourself floating down a river, okay? And you have either you're sitting in or you're strapped in to the most amazing flotation device that has ever existed. Okay. And you know that it's going to keep you afloat the entire time. And so as you float down the river, sometimes the river, like life, is kind of calm. Sometimes it speeds up a little bit and we kind of like it, or maybe we maybe don't like it so much when it starts speeding up. And sometimes it gets really stormy and rapid. And I don't know about you, but most of my life, I don't really enjoy those times, although I'm starting to a little bit more. But regardless of all that, you're floating down the river through all these different possibilities, but you've got this flotation device that you know is always going to keep you afloat. Okay. And so imagine that. See also as I'm talking, see if you can just get a feel for what that might feel like. Like, what would it feel like to be going down maybe through rapids and it's going fast and stormy, but you're afloat, you know? Um, so that metaphor, analogy, whatever image, like really landed with people, and it kind of has stayed with me. But it's really about what's inside of us. So what I said to this person was, well, if that feels good, if that feels comforting, feels safe, guess what? You have the equivalent inside you of that world-class, amazing flotation device. And it's a million times better. Okay. So take a moment now and just take a look. What does the word buoyancy feel like to you on the inside? You can reflect on just even whatever's happening right now, because remember, this buoyancy is for every different experience we have. So whatever, and we have a whole range of people here, right? People are experiencing all sorts of different things right now. But whatever your experience right now, can you get any sense for what buoyancy feels like? And if you do, you can give a thumbs up or say hi, or, a couple of big thumbs up there. And if you don't, that's fine too, because there's a really beautiful thing about this community and this understanding is there is power, and you might even say progress, in just taking time to look, no matter what you find. Okay. A lot of times, Sydney Banks has I think, a pretty famous quote that, um, some of you may be newer to the Three Principles community. Some of you may have been around for a while, but one of his famous quote, which is much discussed, often debated, often like pondered over, is he would talk about the principles. He would talk about, what's going on inside of us through universal mind, consciousness, and thought, and how it creates our experience. But in several of his talks, after he talks for about 15, 20 minutes about it, he'll say something like, well, okay, just kind of put that aside for right now. Nobody really understands what I'm talking about, but just kind of put that aside and just look inside yourself for a nice feeling. And he said, if you do that and you find a nice feeling, that's it. That's really all I'm talking about. It's kind of like that's the prize, in a sense, of being in this exploration. And so, I've been in some discussions about that, and people will say, well, I don't know, I can't find a nice feeling. Or does that mean I'm supposed to kind of push away something else that's not nice? And the way I've really come to land with this is it doesn't matter what you find. Like, it doesn't matter what you find at all. The fact that you take a moment to do this very simple, ordinary human act of looking within yourself, however that looks to you, however it feels to you in the moment, that's really a good thing. Because in my experience, it starts to orient you more and more toward looking within, because there's a whole treasure trove of beauty, peace, joy, and love that is just within us and is infinite. And just taking a few times, like right now, why not right now? Like, I can ask you again, you know, take a look right now, you know, do a little reset, and just maybe this time, instead of looking for buoyancy or looking for a nice feeling, as Sid would say, just look to see what it is like for you to look within yourself. So just take a few moments, and I'm going to do the same. And if you like, if you would like to pop a word in the chat if anything came up for you around that. So for me, my experience just now in the present time was just this feeling of spaciousness. And spaciousness can feel any kind of way that it feels, but that was very immediate for me. So just spaciousness. And I have to say, like, this has been, like, I've been through a lot, in this community, and I've seen a lot and have just talked with so many people. But I have to tell you, it all comes down to all during the day. Maybe some of you have this experience too, which is really beautiful. It is all during the day. I'm just going through my life. I'm doing what I'm doing, thinking all the time, pretty much. Thinking about nice things. I'm thinking about some pretty scary things, you know, every day. And all during the day, like literally, oh, probably over 100 times a day or more, I have this experience where I'm just kind of waking up back to myself. And it's almost like that little tap on the shoulder that I've been inviting you to do right now. Like, take a look inside yourself right now. And what's really beautiful about this for me is that it is not work. It is not a practice at all. It's actually this inner, I call it a prompt, like an inner prompting to kind of like realize you've just woken up, look within, check in with yourself, and just see what's there. And this has really taken hold of my life. And I don't know, maybe some of you have had similar experiences too. Like, do any of you, as you go through your day, you know, maybe you're driving, maybe you're working, maybe you're doing something, all of a sudden you just sort of pop out of whatever you were just thinking about. And there's this little bit of space. I see Jennifer smiling, and some other people. Um, so to me, that's just another way of saying, we started this talk with talking about, buoyancy, and using the metaphor of, you know, how you can feel going through stormy waters, and then kind of looking within to see, well, what is that? What is that for me? Is that even there? Do I feel that? And then just maybe if this is a new idea for you now, just consider that the simple act of looking within yourself in the present can reorient your entire consciousness to seeing this more and more and living with this more and more and discovering, like I said, sometimes, you can take a moment to reflect or look within yourself and you're like, I don't know, there's not really much there. Or actually it feels kind of crappy. Like me too. Like me too. But more and more, I think you'll see what's inside you. And what's inside you is just amazing. Like it's a miracle. There is just endless possibilities for peace, for seeing beauty in the world, for feeling hope, for feeling, no matter what's going on, feelings of goodwill toward other people, sometimes even people you disagree with, which is kind of nice too. So I want to take a moment to just pause here. Do we have anything in the chat? We have space. I love it. Everyone's finding space. But I want to take a moment because, like I said, I really do, like people who know me in this community know I can talk forever. And especially once I get going, it's like a train going. But I really want to take a moment here to pause and to see, let's start chatting with each other. Like what's coming up for you? What are you hearing? Are you hearing anything fresh? Which I always love to hear about, but it doesn't have to be fresh. It could be very like ordinary, it could be nice, it could be challenging even. I'm pretty sure everyone is experiencing something in this exploration. And so does anyone want to Anna, nice to see you.
Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. I really appreciate this, Tom, because you know what I hear? I hear Sid say many times, well, at least one time in one recording that I listened to many times. He says something around, I always tell people to go inside, but they never do. And I appreciate the invitation in real time to just take that turn, you know. And when you suggested, I was like, okay, Tom, I'll do it. And because I have things going on, the first thing that hits me is the tension, right? But when I follow your prompt and then I stay in that direction, then the relief began to show up. So I appreciate that we can talk about going within and we can actually go within.
Yeah.
We can talk about looking inside and we can actually look inside. And this has been a beautiful reminder. And it doesn't get much more simpler than that. But
Right.
it gets overlooked by the intellect that wants to understand, that wants to, you know, it's always at work. But when you look inside, all of that can rest. All
Yeah.
of that can settle at its own time. So I appreciate the pointing, the direct invitation. And
Yeah.
I love that you say that we can do this through the day because sometimes we just go head first, life. But it's like come inside and then you come out again and you live your life. So I really needed to hear that, possibly every day.
Well, the good news is now that you're seeing that, right? And you're recognizing that, I was sort of the prompter on this call.
Mhm,
We all have an
mhm,
inner prompter, and this really is effortless. It can look like it's something you're doing, but by the time you get the prompt to look within, you've already woken up.
mhm.
You're already woken up, and you just can go with it. So thank you
Yeah,
for sharing your
appreciate.
experience. And Steph, hey,
Hey Tom,
hey,
I'm here.
hey.
I'm so glad to be here. Um, I have a response around looking within too, because I think it happened almost 4 years ago now that I really started considering, what if what I'm looking for is within me, really? And at the time, I was looking for external things, and I was looking for changes in my relationship and changes in my life on the outside. And it didn't make any sense to me that those physical things could be inside. But something stuck with me enough that I kept up the looking. And for about 2 weeks, I just sort of pondered it, not too heavily, just like, what if it's in there? What if it's in me? What if it is? And I saw something that really changed my life that I really can't even tell you exactly what it was because it was what I needed to see in the moment. But when I saw it, it realigned my life and I made a bunch of choices based on like I just knew this is what you're doing now. And it set me on the trajectory that has me now living in Portugal. And so when you say that there's a treasure trove, like even if when you look inside, because sometimes I think when I get quiet, especially if I'm not used to it, because I've been really noisy in my head, the first thing I notice is the noise and how freaking noisy it is in me. And it feels even worse for a bit. But that's not all there is. Like if you keep your gaze inward directed, and we say within, but I heard a quote and I'll do my best to repeat it, but within is not a direction, it's a dimension.
Mm.
It's like a whole other, it's within, before, beyond, beneath, underneath, everything. That's what we're talking about. So when you begin to look there, sometimes you notice there's noise, but that's not all there is. And if you hang out or you come back, whenever you notice it, something will occur to you from there that's just for you. And I can't even tell you what it is. But it ends up being really cool.
Wow. Well, thank you for that stuff. That's so beautiful. And what you said about the kind of sometimes if you get a little quiet, the first thing you notice is all the noise. I mean, that can be a very relatable experience. And that is like at the point to go back to the flotation device metaphor. That's the point where you can suddenly maybe remember, oh, it's okay. I'm going to be okay. You can have that feeling can come over you very, very, very quickly, even in the midst of the noise. Like that's one of the most, I don't know, one of the most surprising things to me about being in this community and about being in this understanding is I always thought that I was going to find something in this world of spirituality, in this world of psychology, that was going to make me immune from having those down, bad, sometimes horrible experiences. But that's not the way it worked out. But when I found out, I often call it like coming in second place or getting second prize, that I can still have all those experiences, but then know that I'm okay. Know it's going to pass, but even, and this was something too, even before it passes, I can still know that I'm safe. And this is true for all of us. Like we are safe within any emotional experience or inner, whatever you want to call it, whatever experience we're having, even if we don't feel safe, it's safe to feel. And that's because of this inner, whatever you want to call it, that we have inside of us. Like consciousness can embrace and take on whatever you want to, whatever word you want to use for it. Conscious can experience it at all and never be harmed. Consciousness is never harmed. And that's what we are at our deepest level. Um, so it can feel a lot of different ways. And I don't think any of us are very much different on this call. Even if we were like a teacher or a presenter, we all have all kinds of different experiences, but we all have the same buoyancy, consciousness, power within us. So thanks for that, Steph. Hi, Bobby.
Hi. Oh, it's so good to be here. Whew, feels like dessert. I love the write-up. When I saw that this was available on the 3PGC website, I read the description. And buoyancy is such a descriptive word because at first to me it means movement. You know, buoyant, I don't normally picture a flat lake. So there's ups and downs. And then immediately I was thinking about a couple of things that I heard second, third hand stories about Sid, where he said that life is still a full contact sport and we're here for that. We're not here to have enlightenment and then go sit in the corner and do nothing. I mean, that sounds pretty boring. Um, and then another thing was when somebody had asked him, so since 1973, when the experience happened, do you ever get angry? And he seemed really confused by the question. And then the people that knew him really well said, Yeah, he does. Like, yeah, you still get angry. And I just love how this understanding, the longer I've been swimming in this soup with all you guys, the it is so rich that we are here designed, innately designed to fall for the illusion of mind, thought, and consciousness. We're here to fall for it because that way you get to wake up because waking up feels so good. It's like getting the punchline of a joke. And if your life is anything like mine, you get a lot of chances to laugh at yourself. I mean, I wake up and see, oh, there I go again. The other thing that came to me when you were talking about the buoyancy image was if we're innately buoyant, the only thing that can hold my cork underwater is me. So if I get my hand off the top of my head and stop pushing down, I'll probably be fine. But it's all that efforting to fix something. I mean, if I can't fix myself, maybe there's a good chance I also can't break myself. Maybe I'm just innately safe, like you were saying. I'm just innately safe having a very heavily textured experience of life and knowing that, like, I just came through a season of moving, downsizing, fiercely downsizing, moving a lot of life-threatening medical stuff, lots and lots of stuff going on. And I was having emotions all over the place and meltdowns. And even in the middle of sobbing and saying, "Where's the Kleenex? I'm running out." A big part of me was like, well, oh, this will be over at some point. But while I was in it, I just let myself be in it because I knew I let myself really get into all the feelings because I knew I wasn't going to have to do anything to clean up the mess. You don't have to do anything when it's over. There's no wreckage. There's no additional sessions of therapy. It's just, oh, that was rapids. That was Blackwater. That was seriously dangerous. I'm fine. And now it's a lovely day. Isn't that good? It's great. And just lastly, I too can go on forever. I saw this plaque years ago and in a gift shop, I burst out laughing because I got it. And I know you guys will get it. Yes! Isn't that great?
One of you, if you didn't catch it, it said, "Dare to be indifferent."
Yes, dare to be indifferent. Um, it's such a freedom to not have to have permission. I mean, excuse me, to not have to have an answer for everything, to not have to have an opinion on everything. I can be indifferent and just go, huh, wow. Like HUH is my favorite word. When other people are talking and I disagree with every word they're saying, huh, because they're doing giving me the audio description of the traffic in their head. That's all they're doing. It looks like they're talking to me, but they're just talking about what they're experiencing. And I can just say, whoa, you're having such a different life experience than I am. But I keep that inside. I don't say it out loud, but can afford, my heart can afford to love people I really disagree with because they're just talking to me about how crunchy their life experience is. And mine's, ah, I mean, not a month ago, but right now mine is pretty like it doesn't get any better than this. So why not enjoy it while it's here? I just love that Sid gave me permission to take my hands off the steering wheel.
Mm.
It's not easy and it's not boring, but it's not a problem anymore. Thanks.
Oh, well, thank you, Bobby. That was so beautiful. There's just so much in there. It was almost like a mini webinar. in everything that you shared. And a few things jumped out at me. You mentioned a word we haven't mentioned yet, but it goes along with everything else, which is freedom. The feeling of being free, especially like if you're again going down a river, and you're just enjoying it. Why do people float down rivers? I mean, there's probably lots of reasons, but freedom, that feeling of freedom that you don't maybe normally get, that specific experience that you don't normally get in your life is very attractive. Um, you also mentioned taking your hands off the wheel. Now that's a metaphor, like we've heard that so many times, right? In so many different situations. I was reflecting back on, or having a random memory before, doing this webinar was, I grew up in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, where I was lucky that when I did when I was in high school and I did my driver's ed, there was snow and ice on the ground because it snows there, but not all the time. It's usually clear there. But I was taking, I think it was maybe even like my second lesson of driving, and the parking lot was covered in ice. And the instructor was like, "Oh, good." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Oh, good." He's like, "I want to show you something. This may come in handy sometime." So he had me, and it was a big parking lot, no, he knew what he was doing, and he knew I didn't know yet how to drive. But he's like, "Okay, I want you to go forward and then turn the wheel really sharply." And so those of you who've driven in snow and ice know that if you turn the wheel sharply, the back end goes out. And the tendency, which he taught me, the tendency is to keep going with the turn, and that just makes it worse. Then you're spinning. But he's like, okay, when you get to this point, he didn't say let go of the wheel, because I don't think a driver instructor would ever say let go of the wheel of a car, but he said like stop, and then you actually turn in the opposite direction. And um, that never became a thing for me until uh, for a while I lived in Minnesota, where guess what? There is snow on the ground pretty much the whole winter. And so there are times where I would drive and I would start turning a corner and it would start to slip out. And I think there were a few times where it almost felt like the car righted itself. I wasn't going very fast. I was just turning the corner. See a thumbs up from Dennis, who knows about driving in Minnesota. Um, but the thing was really cool about it was it's something that I got a feel for. Didn't have to think about it. It's just like, oh, I'm starting to slip. And it just almost, like I said, it almost righted itself. And when I was doing this on some of the side streets of Minneapolis where there were no other people around, it actually was like, oh, this is kind of fun. You know? It was actually kind of a fun experience. Now that I live in the Pacific Northwest, I haven't had a lot of opportunity. I mean, it does snow here occasionally, and when it does, it gets very icy. But um, so part of why, I love some of the things you said, Bobby, is we can, like that analogy of taking your hands off the wheel, we can actually get a feel for that. And so that's maybe the other thing that I want to just highlight and recommend and reflect on, and maybe, take with you beyond this webinar, that when we're having these talks and trainings and whatever we're doing, like in this community when we're together, it's really all about getting a feel for what people are talking about. And when you get a feel for it, like, man, it's yours. It's yours. And you don't even have to know the words or be able to talk about it. So I think some of you have had that experience too, where you just get a feel for, like, you get a feel for, like Bobby was saying, when she was going through such a hard time, she had a feel for the fact that maybe she could actually find something in her present to enjoy, but also she could see that this was going somewhere, and it was going to be that part of the journey that was going to come to an end. But even in the present moment, when that part hasn't felt like it's come to an end and we're still in it, we can still get a feel for these things we have inside. And again, going back to what Steph said, sometimes it's just maybe a matter of you get this prompt to look within, and maybe you don't like what you see, and then you move on to kind of just get another prompt, which will be, stay there for a little bit. Just stay in that open. It's not so much like staying with the experience you're having. That's okay if that's what you want to do, but it's really more about staying with the feeling of what is it like. And I guess I'll put it in some maybe other simple terms. And maybe again, since it's been about 20 minutes since I invited you to do something, this time just take a look. Like, what does it feel like just to be awake, like in the normal sense? Like right now. I don't think, maybe some of the people who don't have their cameras on are sleeping. You never know. But the people who I'm looking at appear to be awake, right? In the normal sense. Take a sec and just see, what is that? Does that feel like something just to be awake? What does it feel like just to be alive? Just to be. And another is, what does it feel like just to be aware of whatever you're aware of? What does it feel like to be aware? And again, like going back to Sid Banks and how I interpret what he said about looking within for a feeling and finding a nice feeling, is I can always 100% guarantee know what it feels like to be awake, as long as I'm awake, right? And I think you all can. And I know what it feels like, because it feels like something just to be alive, doesn't it? No matter what your life is like, it feels like something to be alive. That's always available. So if you want something that's always available, and you get this prompt to wake up, to look within, just to see what this ordinary, miraculous, ordinary experience of being awake, alive, aware. And there's a few teachers in the three principles. I heard Dickin and Natasha say it recently, that really the principles, a simple way of explaining the principles is universal mind, that, as Sid Banks called it, is just being alive. That's it. You're alive. The universe exists. And consciousness is being awake or aware. They're kind of interchangeable. And then thought is just whatever that is inside of us that allows us to experience the form of the world. And the form of the world can be either, and it can be what we call our physical environment, our bodies, whatever senses we have that are active, that are going, and anything that we're thinking. And one of the nice things about this is, we often talk about there being, and someone mentioned it earlier, an inner and an outer. And, we talk about that a lot in this community, but, guess what? Even that can break down a little bit, and you can see through that a little bit when you see that whether we're experiencing our thoughts, our emotions, our body, the world outside of our body, there's one thing that brings them all together, and that is consciousness or awareness, because we're aware of the world, we're aware of our bodies and our emotions, and we're aware of our thoughts. And this kind of blew my mind when I realized this a couple years ago. It's the same awareness that's doing all of it. So I wonder if anyone else wants to say anything or ask a question or say what you're feeling right now, what you're experiencing, what this has been like for you.
I love that you suggested again, not only that we look inside, but we stay in that direction. I love it. I love it because it's true. I go into okay, and then I meet with the confusion, because that's what it's almost like the last thing you ate, and then you stay with you go past that, and there's the relief that I was mentioning, and the fact. I love that, and I love I can't see, I don't have my glasses, Bobby, but I love when she say about they're only just showing me what is the real of their mind. They're speaking their minds. I love that we can understand that and we can love people no matter what, because it's not them. It's just they're speaking their mind. That's the quality of their thinking. That's the way that their mind is showing them the world. And I have that too, but I've been lucky to find out that that's not who I am. And maybe they don't know that yet. Maybe they haven't found out that that's not who they are. And you just like, wow. So we're very lucky. And I think that's part of what gives us those realizations that happen sort of in space is because of the looking within. So like, again, it's not a practice. I don't think you're recommending this as a practice, but it's the direction that Sid was pointing to. Right. So it's like a medicine that you take as you need it. I love that. Prescription free. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for sharing that. And going back to just reflecting or experiencing in the moment, what it's like to be aware and awake and alive and conscious. That's also when we're getting a direct experience of what we, as far as I can tell, as far as I can go so far, as to what we are. And now there have been a lot of spiritual teachings that I've come across that say basically that what we are in the midst of everything else that we're experiencing is that we are awareness. I came across that in several teachers before I came across the three principles. And I heard it, and I think I did hear something in that. Yet in the end, before I came upon the principles, it didn't really seem to help me in my life of suffering, which was, like a lot of people in this call, was very intense at time. Now, coming into the conversations around the principles and then hearing, consciousness in a fresh way and experiencing it in a direct way, and then having the insight that built into consciousness are all the beautiful, miraculous feelings that we often are looking for in life, and all the different things we're doing, no matter what it is in our life, we're looking for, any one of the following. You can take your pick, choose your own adventure. We're looking for a feeling of freedom. We're looking for love. We're looking for beauty, right? We're looking for peace. And it's all inherent in consciousness and mind, or inherent in the principles, but it's inherent in life. So to have that, to consider that, first of all, to consider that, which was what happened to me first, and then start to almost develop another word that I hadn't really used much before, but a faith, like a really strong faith that we're seeing something that is like way, infinite beyond what we're seeing. Like, there's something more, and you can be happy with what you have. That was another thing that Sid said that was really impactful for me, is he would say, wherever you are in your level of consciousness, which is just wherever you are in your life and your understanding, there's an infinite way to go. And if you can just be grateful for what you do know and what you have seen, and everybody on this call has seen something. I don't even know everybody on this call, but I know everyone has seen something, and you can find it in yourself if you look. And if you consider that you can feel grateful for what little you've seen, that's that can be a beautiful experience and helpful in a very practical way. So, Kinneret, hi there. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you. It's lovely. I love your talk. I love the reflection questions. It definitely just brings us back back into the space that is before thought. And that's the space, that feels good. That's the good feeling. It's peaceful. It's like it's peaceful and we don't need anything anymore. Like that's where the satisfaction is. Like, okay, that's good. So all the striving disappears. So I really appreciated that. That was very lovely. I'm pretty soon going to walk into a facility where I'm going to be meeting with a woman who has frontotemporal dementia, which means that she loses the ability to speak. So at this point, it's more like yes or no, and even that is difficult to come out. She has become very anxious since developing this condition. And she's relatively young. She's about a year older than I am. So she's aware of what's happening, very frustrated with her life. She cannot care for herself at all. Like they have to care for her for everything. But she has not yet found the space before thought. She's living in a feeling of her anxious thinking about her condition, about her kids, on and on. I am going to try the two questions you posed today and see if she's able to reflect in that way. Yeah. Yeah, anything that you have to share about this?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question. So you spend some time with her, right? Hanging out with her basically and talking with her, and
We talk. I get her out of the facility to go for a walk.
it's great.
Sometimes I'll take her out for coffee,
Okay.
pizza, I don't know, just
Okay.
to enjoy life. I'm there
Well,
to enjoy life.
yeah.
Before when she was able to talk more, I got kind of the backstory. There's a lot of guilt about the past. Yeah. Sometimes when we talk, she understands and she cries, but
Okay.
I don't think she is connected with a place of quiet yet.
Well, what I would say is notice the times that you're with her, or maybe you can even remember sometimes, you said that she's experiencing a lot of distress and it seems like it's going on all the time. But I would notice when she, even for a moment, if she pops out of that, like even a second, like she's enjoying her coffee or anything, just a moment, or even if you notice like just what you would see as a distress level, if you see it drop a little bit, okay?
Yeah, that does happen, Tom. It
Hey,
happens.
there you
It
go.
happens. I crack jokes just because I like it. And she has a very dark sense of humor, so she'll laugh at some of
There you
my
go.
jokes.
There you go.
That's when it happens.
So just remember that when you think about her too, even when you're thinking about her and pretty closely like what she's experiencing from spending time with her. But don't leave out those parts because those are happening. And a question that I would maybe take with you and reflect upon is what is it? And actually everybody, this is really maybe a question for everybody as you go through things in your life and you notice, and this is really important because someone had to point this out to me when I was going through my little horror show, 6 years ago. It was very helpful to me. Is at the end of the day, I would have told you with complete certainty it was 24/7. I was in this severe state of depression. And anybody who cared about me would have totally been compassionate and would not have disagreed with me because that's not something you would do to someone who shares that. But the fact is, it was not true. It was not true. I was popping in and out of it all day long because that's how it works. And so even people who are in to us, would seem very extreme situations are popping in and out of it. So the question I would ask you maybe to take with you and reflect upon from time to time, and anyone on this call too, to reflect upon on it. What makes that possible? What makes it possible for you to be, whether it's like a very dark period, it feels like, or just, a crappy period, whatever, however you would say it. What makes it possible for you to pop out of that when nothing has changed? Your circumstances haven't changed, your physical, mental health has not changed, but yet you've just popped out of, or your level of distress has lessened. Something makes that possible, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to ask you that because it's a great question. And if you work with people, because I know there are some people on this call who work with other people, it's a great question to get people reflective on. It could, like it did to me, totally change your life. Totally change your life. So I hope that's helpful. And maybe at some point, you can let me know what you're discovering, or what are you hearing now? I guess I should ask you.
Yeah, it's what I'm hearing is to um, point out to her in ways that she can see that she's okay.
Yeah.
That she's not just trapped in the experience of the mind. That
Yeah.
yeah, and I love the question, what makes that happen?
Yeah. And for you as someone who's helping her and being with her, it's powerful when you notice it, even if you don't say anything. And you will find, I'll predict this. um, um, you'll find you might be seeing it more and more. Already happening without any intervention. It's already happening. But as we see more, like I said, as we see more, we see more. And the people in our lives will feel it. Like when you were first talking, before we even went into any of the specifics, I could feel this really beautiful peace and nice feeling coming from you. I don't know if other people maybe felt that too as you were talking. Um, so we touch people and help people without talking about anything specific. So I think that person's really lucky to have you in their life.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Anna.
This has been so rich. There were so many beautiful, I feel like we just so abundant, and now I can't find anything. We have so many beautiful insights. The one thing, I experience sometimes is that I want people to see that they're okay, but
Mhm.
I'm not seeing that they're okay myself,
Mm-hmm.
with nothing changing. Because we look for that, we think, oh, the symptoms means there's something that's not okay. And if we could see that we're okay, then we will come out okay. But we're okay even with the symptoms. Always okay.
Yeah.
Not easy to see that. I'm not always able to see that in myself. I'm not always just able to see that in others. But I'm seeing that it's all about going deeper into that, understanding that formlessness can never not be okay.
Right.
Wow, Tom, this has been amazing.
Oh, well, thank you for reflecting that back. That actually means a lot to me too. And the word okay,
Yeah,
such an ordinary, simple, beautiful word.
yeah,
And you said something too, like you can know you're okay or feel okay when you don't feel okay. If that
yeah,
trip up your mind or blow your mind, I don't know. If that's true.
yeah.
So another thing maybe we can all take with us is to reflect on that word, okay, because we use it so
Mm,
much. Like take some time to reflect, well, what is that really? What is, and you might find something rich and surprising about that experience of what because we
yeah.
have a thought about what it means to be okay, and then later on we might discover it's something totally more beautiful
Mm,
and peaceful. All those words are inherent, and as you pointed out, Anna, that is inherent in consciousness and life. In
mm,
you know Someone else once pointed out that even in the term of like physical reality, that no matter what is going on, the light that's shining on it is the same light, and
yeah.
the light's not affected. The light's not never diminished, and it's also never really improved upon. But the light's always there, and a light is just another word for that simple thing we talked about: um, feeling awake, feeling alive, feeling aware is another light is another word for that. So with that, this has been so much fun. I want to invite people. Steph, do you have the possibility to put something in the chat?
I do, and I might already have it. If you tell me what you got,
No,
could be there.
I just want to invite everyone who's here, um, everyone who's listening, to feel free to reach out if you want to chat sometime. No charge. Just I do my work in the principles is more kind of in person doing group work. That's really
What's your website, Tom? You want to put your website or your email
actually
on?
you can put in my email, and if you want to put in my Instagram, most of my Instagram is devoted to art. Um,
So is it tom.mattox@gmail.com?
yep.
What's your email? Yeah, okay.
Email.
And what's your on Instagram?
Instagram is just at tom.mattox, and I know I have several Instagram friends on this call, and it's really nice to see what people are up to. But
Okay.
feel free, like
There's
if you have a question, you want to talk, no charge. Um, I just,
but you can tip him.
yeah,
Donate.
send me a picture of your cat if you have a cat. But I guess I also want to say part of the reason, just for me personally, that I say that and the reason that I'm here on this call and the reason that I work with Steph and Kate, and helping, do the live work for these programs, is I can never, ever, ever give back even a percentage of what I mean, I didn't even go through and tell my whole story of what being in this community has done for me. It has been a miracle. And it's been something that I had not found. I know there are a lot of great things in other non-3P world, you know. There are a lot of ways, but I never found in anything. This has just been a whole nother dimension for me, and I can never pay it back. Uh, uh, Kiki, do you want to say something else before we leave?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, so lovely. And I also sit with something you said and Anna sort of iterated that it's all made up and we go in and out of it.
Yep.
Cool. I'm going to put 2 more links into the chat. So in the chat, you can find Tom's email, his Instagram, and if you are not already a member of 3PGC, if you enjoyed this, I would encourage you to check it out. You can become a member for as little as $12 and get access to even more and deeper conversations like this that will help you get more of a feel for what it is that we're talking about and maybe what you've begun to sense as Tom was talking. And also there's a link there if you like Tom and myself and Kate and you'd like something a little different tomorrow at what time is it? It's
1
at
p.m.
1 p.m. Eastern. Yep, 1 p.m. Eastern. We are meeting, the 3 of us and a gentleman called Bernie Kettle, and we're taking a fresh look at life transition. So that's free, and I put the link there. You can register to join us if you want. If you want more Tom, which I highly recommend.
Yeah, and if you want more Stephanie, I have a feeling you might be doing something in the next.
I am. In 2 weeks from today, on Wednesday, same time, I'm going to be talking about love in action and creating a life that you love. So that should be very fun. I hope to see you there too. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
This is wonderful.
Take care, everyone.